Tuning fork.
It's a tuning fork. And what is it for? Do you know?
Well, you hit it like that, and then it make a.
You want to come up here and do it for me? We got metal right here.
My dad used to do that.
Yep. Something you can play. There you go. Just hit it right there. And it keeps going, and it keeps going. Hit it again. I want them to hear that again. So this is called your middle C. That's what this is. This is a tuning fork that is used to tune pianos, or if you need to hear that note right there to get you back on track. We just had that piano tune the other day. It plays beautiful, by the way. And I'm sure Matt brought one of these to tune that piano. My dad used to. I gave Sarah Dad's, and it's got nicks all over it from being probably as kids, I'm sure, hitting it, you know. But anyway, I was telling Evenil about this this devotion, and she said, "Sure, you got to have a tuning fork. You got to have that there for that." So anyway, thank you there, Brian, for doing that for me. But that is our middle C right there, and I've got a little story here I want to read that refers to that right there. Since I am in music a lot, I felt like, and the girls are going to be singing, I thought this is very fitting for today. So this is a little story about your middle C. So listen to this, and it says, David wrote the 23rd Psalms to build our trust in God. That's what that 23rd Psalms, and probably most of you all can quote that, I'm sure. I learned that at Blue Buck when I was in 3rd grade. And in fact, this is my Bible from Blue Buck in 3rd grade that I won because of memorizing verses. But it's more than just memorizing, it's applying it to your life every day. So this says, when Lloyd Douglas, author of The Road and other novels, he attended college, he lived in a boarding house. A retired wheelchair-bound music professor resided on the first floor. Each morning, Douglas would stick his head in the door of the teacher's apartment, and he'd ask this question. Well, what's the good news? He would say every day. What's the good news? And the old man would pick up his tuning fork right there, and he would tap it on the side of his wheelchair. And he'd say, that's middle C, my friend. That's middle C. It was middle C yesterday. It's middle C today, and it will be middle C for 1,000 years from now. It never changes. He says the tenor upstairs sings flat. Has anybody ever sang with someone that sang flat? I have, and it's a tough thing to do. I'm going to slide this over because my book will not stay on my Bible. Hold on just a minute. So he says the tenor upstairs sings flat. The piano across the hall is out of tune. So we have had an out of tune piano for a while here. And maybe people don't recognize it except the ones that play it, you know, because sometimes it can really get on. In my band, when humidity starts coming around when we're playing, them strings, even my bass, and I don't have trouble with my bass, but even once in a while, it'll start getting that wang to it, and it'll just drive you crazy because it's out of tune. It doesn't blend, it doesn't sound good. So you take a little time, tune it up a little bit. So it says, my friend, that is middle C. You and I need a middle C in our life. And that middle C, I told Stacey last night, that middle C for us is Jesus in our life. That is our middle C. If you ever get off kilter from something, I heard an example one time of people that do pottery on wheels, and when that wheel is off balance, that pottery does not make pure. It's out of whack. It doesn't. But you get someone that's in balance, that pottery bowl turns out beautiful. It's all even, and that's due to that the gentleman or the lady that's working that knows when it gets off kilter, knows when it gets out of its middle C. Haven't you had enough change in your life? Relationships change. Health changes. It does, don't it, David? Health changes. Jack, health changes. We've been through a lot of that, Miss Heather. Life is not what we make it sometimes, but what we are given, we can make that work in our favor with all attitude, with what we're doing in life. It says, Yahweh, who ruled the earth last night, is the same Yahweh who rules it today. He never changes. Same conviction, same plan, Same mood, same love. He never changes. You can no more alter God than a pebble can alter the rhythm of the Pacific. You can throw that pebble in there. Is it going to do anything? No. All it's going to do is add a little spot to that. God never changes. He says, Yahweh is our middle seat, a still point in a turning world. He's still there, lining up. Don't we all need a still point in our life? If we can refer back to that, the cares of this world, we won't see them. We'll have our blinders on. Jack done a lesson many, many years ago, or talked in church one time about putting blinders on, because this world can sure veer us off track. And none of us, I mean, we're all prone to it sometimes. You know, we're not perfect. Stacy, you're not perfect, okay? But we try to be. We strive for that. And, but if we can always get our focal point back, we'll do okay. We equally need an uncaused shepherd. No one breathed life into Yahweh. No one sired him. No one gave birth to him. No one caused him, and no act brought him. Though he creates, God was never created. Though he makes, he was never made. Though he causes, he was never caused. It says, hence the psalmist's proclamation, and I love this, before the mountains were born, or you brought forth the earth and the world from everlasting to everlasting, you are God. He never changes. That is Psalms 92. God, our shepherd, doesn't check the weather, he makes it. It's kind of like Chuck Norris. You know, they always had them sayings. I think Monica could probably say many of them. But he never changes. God doesn't check the weather, he makes it. He doesn't defy gravity, he created it. He isn't affected by health. He has no body. Jesus said God is a spirit. And that's in John 4:24. Since he has no body, he has no limitations. Equally active in Cambodia as he is in Connecticut. Now, back many, many moons ago when I was young, I always tried to figure out how that this was spread all over the world, that God could be, because we didn't have technology a lot back then. But look now, it has spread. I can talk to someone in China if I want to. It's crazy where we're at, but that's the day and age that we're in. And he says, where can I go to get away from your spirit? Asked David. Where can I run from you? If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I lie down in the grave, you are there. Since no act brought him forth, no act can take him out. Does he fear earthquakes? Does he tremble at a tornado? No. He calms the wind with a word. That's all it takes is one word. He calms us with a word, with his word. If you're having trouble in this life, go to the Word. And I am not a reader, and I hate to say that. I've never been a reader, but I can find, I'll just tell you a little situation this week. I had an attitude check in me this week. And I went home because I was dealing with some kind of issue, and I went home, and that night, on my phone came the Bible verse, and it said, the meek shall inherit the earth. And I looked at meek, and everything that was happening that week with me, I was not being meek. And I was like, you will be checked on things in this life. So I got up the next day, and I said, God, help me to be meek. Help me to not lose who I am. That's what I want to do. I don't want to lose who he made me as to be. I'm never perfect. I'm not. I still get attitude once in a while. Jack has to crack the whip on me a little bit. But I think we all get to that point in our lives sometime. It says, I'm going to keep going here. He will be here long after all this stuff is gone. Counselors can comfort you in the storm, but you need a God who can still the storm. Friends can hold your hand at your deathbed, but you need a Yahweh who has defeated the grave. Philosophers can debate the meaning of life, but you need a Lord who can declare the meaning of life. You need Yahweh. And this is kind of a good example. Everybody remember Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. The whole story was getting to that wizard at the end, and she was very disappointed when she got there. It says, she and her trio followed the yellow brick road, only to discover that the wizard was a wimp. Nothing but smoke and mirrors and a tin drum thunder. Is that the kind of God we need? No. That's not the kind of God we have, is it?
Right.
You don't need to carry the burden of a lesser God, a God on a shelf, a God in a box, and a God in a bottle. We see a lot of people that are using things as their gods, and it's not going to get them anywhere. You need a God who can place 100 billion stars in our galaxy and 100 billion galaxies in the universe. You need a God who can shape 2 fists of flesh into 75 to 100 billion nerve cells, each with as many as 10,000 connections to other nerve cells. Place it in a skull and call it a brain. You need a God who, while so mind-numbingly might, can come in the soft of night and touch you with the tenderness of an April snow. You need Yahweh. And according to David, you have one, and he is your shepherd.
Yes.
And I wrote this little thing down here. You need your middle C, and who is that? That is Jesus.
Yes.
I'm going to tap this one more time because I want you to hear it. And that is your middle C. Keep it with you.